Let's return to one of our top stories, which is the KwaZulu-Natal government confirming that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi will be laid to rest on Friday. Now, the late 95-year-old left a mixed and complicated legacy. Professor and Zulu culture and heritage expert, Professor Sihawu Ngubane, joins us now for more on this. Professor, appreciate your time. Let's start off with some insights into the significance of Zulu culture and heritage within the broader South African context.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you and your viewers. It is very sad that we are here talking about the passing of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who was respected as a custodian of the Zulu culture. And the Zulu culture is a way of living of the people who lived before us. So what we do, we try to emulate what they did during their time, and they survived over 500 years practicing the culture or the way of life. And we know by understanding the definition of culture, it is a total sum of the way people behave at a particular point. So the Zulu culture is based on Ubuntu and also respect. Those are the two pillars of the Zulu culture, respect and Ubuntu. Ubuntu can be translated as the human values. So if you are an African or a Zulu, you will be recognized by your respect for others and also by the principles of Ubuntu, which is caring and reaching out to other people and sympathizing with people even during the time of grief. So basically, that's the cornerstone of the Zulu culture.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way, in your opinion, how has Mangosuthu Buthelezi contributed to the preservation and promotion of Zulu culture?
Prince Buthelezi was core in the Zulu kingdom and in the promotion of the Zulu culture. We have seen that many of the ceremonies, which are cultural events, he was playing a very pivotal role. If one can cite 1991, when they reinstated Umkhosi Womhlanga, the Red Dance, which was over this weekend, he was in the forefront with the late King Mbane, King Zwelithini kaBheka Zulu, because of his passion and for his love of the Zulu culture. And the significance of the Red Dance is to respect women who have respected their bodies by remaining virgins in the sense that they have delayed sexual activity to preserve themselves for womanhood. So the main essence or the essence of the Red Dance is to respect and celebrate those women who behaved so well to reach the stage of presenting the reed. The reed symbolizes purity. As a result, if the maidens have lost their virginity in the past, the reed used to break before it can be presented to His Majesty. So that alone prevented the maidens from the challenges or diseases that are related to sexual intercourse, like HIV. So I think it was very important that they reinstated Umkhosi Womhlanga so that they saved the lives of the girls and also prepare the girls to womanhood. In Zulu, when you are a virgin, during your wedding day, they say, Yangena intombi emhlophe. To say intombi emhlophe, it means a pure girl, because they know that that girl has never slept with a man. They are tested by elderly women from time to time before they can go to the Red Dance. And during the modern times, when the girl is checked, the girl is issued a certificate to say that that girl is pure. So it is very important to respect those maidens during this tradition. And there's also umkhosi woswele, umkhosi wokushwama, and all these ceremonies, they would not go ahead without Prince Buthelezi. We've noticed this time during Umhlanga that his chair was empty, and it was put next to His Majesty as a way of paying respect and paying tribute to the late Prince Buthelezi, because these ceremonies will not go ahead if he was not there. And he knew the hymns that are sung in different ceremonies, because there are hymns that are designed for burials, hymns that are designed for celebration. So the prince knew exactly, and he used to start these hymns, Amahubo, during these festivals. So I think that is the role that he played in the Zulu culture in reviving the traditions that were no longer in practice. And before he departed, these were active, as we saw that Umhlanga was on a week ago in Engwavuma, and this weekend took place at Enyogeni. So he played a very, very important and significant role in sustaining these ceremonies.
Now, Prof, you talk about Umhlanga, which occurred, I think, a week or 2 weeks ago, as you've mentioned, which seeks to preserve the culture and certainly promote or enhance young women or young maidens respecting their bodies and in turn respecting and protecting themselves. Now, when you look at the incidence of gender-based violence in KZN, which is the stats suggest that 36.1% or a little over 36.1% of women in KZN are subjected to gender-based violence, and over 40% men are perpetrators of it. Is there anything that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi did or could have done in order to protect women by equipping men within the Zulu culture and context with the skills that allow them to protect women instead of abusing them?
Yes, I think that is the platform and the forum where young men are also invited to attend the ceremony, and they are being schooled by elders during the 4 days of the ceremony, because it's not just a once-off ceremony. They come there and they are schooled and they are given advice on how to behave, both men and women. Mainly, men are being given advice on how they should behave and how they should treat women per se. And it goes back to even to courting. When you court a woman, traditionally you are not allowed to touch a woman. So all those things, they are taught that they must respect women by all means. I think it covers both men and women.
Great, Prof. Now, I want to go back to, or rather I want to go to the issue around culture, which you spoke about in that definition. One of those things that you talked about is that culture is dynamic. Now, Prince Mangosuthu, at his time of passing, was 95 years old. So he'd been around since 1928. How important was it that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi lived this long and fulfilled life, and as far as a 95-year period is concerned? So he would have been very, very familiar as a young boy in the 1930s, all the way to 2023 at the time of his passing. Now, how important was his lifespan in relation to one knowing culture as way back as the 30s to 2023?
Hugo, I'm trying to listen to your question, but what I think you are referring to is his impact towards sustaining Zulu culture over the years. I think if that is the case, I think he was born into Zulu culture, and he is from the royal family, as we know that he is the grandson of King Cetshwayo. So he was born in the royal family, and he grew up observing Zulu culture from birth till the last breath yesterday. So that influenced him to observe culture of the royal family, and he was a member of the royal household, and also he transferred the skills of what he has learned from his mother, Princess Makoko. Princess Makoko was a musician. She used to play umakweyana, and the prince used to sit around and listen to the music and learn how to appreciate music at a very young age. So that influenced him to love the Zulu people and love the Zulu culture, because he was born into it.
Now, he's also been referred to as a cultural icon, which obviously is a very, very significant status. What are some of the things, do you think, that contribute to somebody being accorded this recognition, officially or unofficially?
He lived Zulu culture. Everything that he did was according to the traditional way of practicing culture. He was never influenced by modernity, although we know that he was educated, but his education did not make him abandon the Zulu culture. And besides being educated, he was also a Christian. He was a staunch member of the Anglican Church. But in spite of being a Christian, he still maintained the Zulu culture. He used to observe all the rituals that are observed in the Zulu culture. And also he was resourceful to advise people who were not informed about the Zulu culture. So I think he deserved that as a custodian of the Zulu culture, because he dedicated his life to promote culture. And maybe the other thing that I can allude to is that when he was the chief minister of KwaZulu government during the Bantustan governments, he introduced the commemoration of Ilembe. Ilembe is King Shaka, who united the Zulu people into a big nation, which was not observed before. And this took place on the 24th of September every year until 2007, during the new democratic dispensation, where this 24 celebration, which was only for KwaZulu-Natal province, was extended to the whole country as part of nation building. The logic behind this expansion or elevation, it was because the government, the current government, realized the importance of remembering our heroes, people who united the African people, like King Shaka. And it changed the name in 2007 into a Heritage Day, not King Shaka's Day, because of the reconciliation spirit that it should embrace all South Africans, not only the Zulu people per se as the ethnic group, because it would have been viewed as promoting tribalism. So in the quest of uniting South Africans, that's why the 24th of September was named a Heritage Day, so that people can celebrate their heritage, which is culture is part of the heritage, and language is also heritage, because the language that we speak as the Zulu people is part of the bigger picture of the Nguni group. And as you know, Hugo, the Nguni group is a big group because it comprises of Siswati, Xhosa, Isindebele, and isiZulu. So if you combine all this language, they form the Nguni group, which is the largest group in South Africa. And let alone the Nguni group, isiZulu alone is spoken by a quarter of the population of South Africa. So all these were part of his struggle and his contribution towards promoting the Zulu people and the Zulu language per se. And in terms of culture, he forced Ubuntu into the curriculum within the basic education. You were forced to have this core subject, which was called Ubuntu. Butu is a Sotho version of Ubuntu. That's where human values and African values were instilled to people who were growing up to know what the Zulu people stand for and what Africans stand for.
Now, Professor, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi's legacy has been met with differing perspectives, including criticism regarding his role during politically turbulent times. Do you think these controversies impact his status as a cultural icon?
Not at all. I think these are two separate things, because we are talking about culture, cultural life and political life. I think his political life it should be set separately from the cultural life, because
Sorry, Prof, but you talk about Ubuntu, right? And
yes.
I'm not sure what Ubuntu's contribution is, and as far as living amicably with your political opponents. So surely in that regard, there must be a link, or at least some thread that would relate the two.
Yes, you are right, Hugo. Ubuntu will cut across political life and cultural life, because the political life is informed by the cultural upbringing. That is why when he started his party, he called it Inkatha cultural movement. It was a cultural movement because he used the culture to build the political party, which was a political platform. So I agree with you, Hugo, that Ubuntu will have impact on his political ideologies. I think his ideology was informed by Zulu culture.
Professor, I have to thank you for your time this evening. UKZN African Languages Professor and Zulu culture and heritage expert Sihawu Ngubane, who was speaking to us on the life of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. Thank you for your time this evening.